What is the strangest reason you have seen someone else naked? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. My great-grandmother would escape from her carers while they were giving her a bath and go streaking around the house saying, "Look, Nana's naked." Toddler me thought that was hilarious. An old, like 75 plus, homeless man in Hawaii stripped naked and ran into the ocean. He swam, floated, splashed around. He was laughing/smiling so hard the whole time. He didn't think anyone else was around. It was oddly one of the most beautiful sights I've witnessed. He looked so genuinely happy, free and careless. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Nursing home abuse. Grandfather with dementia was on his last days. His room was at the end of the long hallway from the elevator. The door was wide open. The closer I got, I could see he was in his bed. Then I could see too much skin. Then I could see all the bedding piled up beside him on the bed. When I got to the room, the full realization hit me. He must have soiled the bed, and whoever changed the sheet left the soiled bedding piled on top of his arm. His penis was in the whatever you call the container for it. Men's portable urinal. He was left alone like that. I ran down to the nurse's station. The nurse who did that had already left after her shift, so he was like that for about a half hour. She got fired. Here's the takeaway. I now know that Gramps was hung like a horse. Not that I ever wanted to know. A woman didn't like that her housing benefit claim had been rejected. She decided to sit in the middle of the floor until we changed our mind, even though it wasn't our decision. All I'd done was read out the letter she'd brought into our department, which, incidentally, had nothing to do with benefits. When this didn't magically make the government change the law, she decided to strip off and run round the waiting room. She then tried biting the police officer we called to remove her and got tasered, while still naked. They were doing their dishes in the sink naked by the front window. I was just walking by. Her husband took me to the titty bar where she was a dancer. I didn't technically see somebody naked, but it was strange. I bought a new house in a new neighborhood where the houses are pretty close together so they can squeeze more of them in. My bathroom window is frosted and I didn't know it faces my neighbor's bedroom. So first week there it's hot and I open the window, was in a rush, and sit down on the toilet. After a bit I look up and see my neighbor standing in his bedroom and we lock eyes. I haven't opened that window again in 6 years. Elementary school, some kid didn't know how to use the urinal. If anyone's ever seen South Park and knows how Butters uses it, it was exactly like that. Sad story. My young neighbor screaming for help while desperately hanging onto her windowsill stark naked because her house was on fire in the middle of the night. Men in the street ran and got ladders, climbed up and rescued her and wrapped her in a coat. Poor woman. It still upsets me. I'm a paramedic. Where should we start? My friend wanted to show me her new tattoo on her hip. She didn't have to fully take off her pants, or even top, to show me. In high school there was a mentally handicapped student that had an aide that had to stay by her side at all times. But one fateful day, she managed to give her aide the slip. Stripped down naked and ran through the halls. Someone actually wanted to have sex with me. Very strange. I was 13 and had to take morning math classes during the weekends at my math teacher's house. The teacher was in her late 20s, early 30s and was a lovely lady. Class was cancelled on a Saturday but I forgot and went to her house. Saw her lying naked on the bed, with her daughter and son, 10 and 7 at the time, watching cartoons. Man on very many drugs forgot to lock the bathroom door, full nude just laying on the floor playing with some trash and a Hot Wheels. Our next door neighbor was a white guy in his 50s. He wasn't too careful with his blinds. Then he started walking down to the mailbox in his boxer shorts and my kids started calling him Mr. Underwear. Then one day he decided to do yard work wearing only a towel around his waist. Dunno about you, I always find sticks in my yard to be an emergency that must be handled immediately, no matter what I'm wearing. After he tested several different orientations, the wind caught the towel just right and he was exposed to all. I am only sad that he did not hear my child saying, "Mama, why is Mr. Underwear's penis so small?" Walked in on a fully naked woman vigorously scrubbing her junk in a subway station bathroom. I noped straight out of there, but my friend had a bathroom emergency, so continued to use the bathroom. Bonus was the stall didn't lock. I saw my wife's aunt naked. It was when my wife and I were dating. We met in college and I graduated a year before her. So at my wife's graduation, her whole family made the 4-hour drive and were using our apartment to change before the ceremony. Her aunt had decided to use our bedroom to change without alerting anyone. I walked in to change and I just hear her aunt scream no. It was too late and we made quick eye contact and I turned around apologizing and closing the door. This was 6 years ago and I still get chills thinking about the level of cringe this experience was. Homeless guy trying to bathe out of a public restroom sink cause he had a job interview. He was so ashamed that it was heartbreaking. I told my uncle to see if he had any idea to help. Think stereotypical interior design gay guy. And that dude ended up with a makeover and a new outfit. Last I heard the guy got the job and now spends most of his time helping out other homeless guys to get them jobs, smiley face. I pulled off the highway on the coast to sleep in my backseat. I woke up to a fat old guy putting on his wetsuit. I'm a lesbian and I remember one time a girl in my class flashed me because by her reasoning, you're a girl so you know what boobs look like. But you're a lesbian so you can tell me if mine look weird. They looked fine. Was a bit embarrassing to be honest. I live in a small village where everyone knows each other. There was a guy living here, who was schizophrenic, and had some bad episodes when he didn't take his medications properly. One time, when I was at home minding my own business, I heard someone shouting, so I went outside. The guy was walking on the street, naked, with a stovepipe on his shoulder, shouting, "I want my horses back. I want my horses back." Our elementary school surrounded a small park and a castle. One time I went into the bushes and saw an older kid and a younger girl with her pants down and topped up. Story time. About a year after we graduated college, this girl we're friends with starts a group chat with her and about 8 dudes. The purpose of the group chat was to try to organize a get-together. What did she actually do? She opened the chat with a full-body nude photo. Not really sure how that happened, but she apologized a bunch and was pretty embarrassed that it happened. It was even funnier because she went back to organizing the get-together after apologizing. What a trooper. Having to watch 100+ men pee into a bottle for drug tests. It was the worst when they decided to take a dump first just to be spiteful. Had to watch it too. In college I walked in on my roommate and his girlfriend plowing. He had a loft bed that was right across from the door opening so I had no choice but to get an eye-level view of pretty much every piece of their front sides. Also got a peripheral view of my father-in-law's everything while visiting my wife's parents. Their house is kind of an open format and I guess he walks from the bedroom to the bathroom fully naked after a shower. I walked in their side door, averted my eyes once I realized what was happening but still got enough in the periphery. Family get together. The weird side of the family. Walk on the beach. No close family members. They went swimming. I want to unsee some shit. Honest to goodness, a buddy of mine who is one of the nicest men I have ever met. Heart of gold. Would give you the shirt off his back. Literally. He helped a guy who was homeless by inviting him back to his place to stay for a few nights. Well, after the guy left, the guy was grateful. My friend didn't get robbed so none of the negative stereotypes about homeless people happened except one. And you don't have to be homeless for this to happen. So my buddy called me. Really embarrassed. Lice. My friend is bald so he had no hair on his head. He is a big hairy bear of a guy. He asked me if I could come over with clothes I'm willing to throw out. Wear gloves and shave his whole body. Balls included. We did this in the shower. I saw him naked before in a locker room but this was different. I made light of it and we laughed and he said he won't let this experience stop him again. And I said, yeah, but what are we going to say to your freaking roommate? And he totally forgot this variable. There he was naked, shaved and he asks me coyishly, will you go knock on his door and tell him what happened? Talking to the roommate was harder than shaving my buddy. It all worked out. Roommate and me did not get lice but we both shampooed. Awkward. Oh my god. I don't think I told my wife this story yet. Boys' locker room. Some strange shit happens in there. Roommate was cleaning his shoes and didn't want to get his clothes dirty. Being on tour. I've seen plenty of things I wish I could unsee inside of a van. Completely normal and not strange at all but most of my male classmates, neighbors etc. in the sauna. Might be strange for you not from Finland though. I was visiting my dad, who worked 75+ hour weeks back then. Usually I just caught up on my reading and various work projects before I saw dad for dinner. It's not much, but his house is out in a nice area and it's relaxing. I was sitting in a recliner reading when dad's girlfriend shows up. I didn't know she was in the house, and I'm guessing by the fact that she paraded out into the living room completely naked that she didn't know I was there either. She was singing Cracklin' Rose to herself. She went to the kitchen, poured herself a nice glass of red wine, downed it, and then went back to the bedroom. All of this without seeing me at all. When I was an intern I had to go chase after a guy in DTs. He was running down the hall naked dragging his 4-point restraints behind him. I was in school 2 weeks ago and I had to take a huge shit. Every toilet was taken, so I had to go to the locker room's toilet to take a shit. When I started wiping my ass, I started hearing talking from the locker room. So you may think just get out of there, it's nothing, but the problem is, I was in girls' locker room. I was so stupid and I had to take a mad shit. I didn't check which locker room I went, so I was sitting there waiting them to leave so I can come out. I waited and waited till I didn't hear a sound, so I was like, okay, they left. I can go now. So I opened the door slowly and peeked little bit and I didn't see anyone. I opened the door completely and saw the middle-aged gym teacher changing her clothes and she was completely naked. So I had to explain to the gym teacher and principal what the hell I was doing in girls' locker room. I hope you enjoy as much I enjoyed my detention, school pervert. Because I wanted to cheer my wife on in a triathlon. It was an indoor one at a YMCA, and the only way to get to the pool was to go through the showers. Really didn't need to see fat old man dick just to go cheer for my wife. Was hanging with my friend at his house. His parents were out for the night at a social gathering. We were 15 and 14 and he had twin 14-year-old sisters. Me and him were playing video games in the basement, where we always hung out and spent all of our time. I had left my hoodie there the last time I was over and it was in his room on the upper level, so I went up to get it. As I get upstairs I look over and see one of his sisters butt naked in her room. I'm guessing she was just quickly changing and didn't expect any of us to come upstairs. We locked eyes for a solid 2 seconds and then just continued on and never said a thing about it to anyone. Context: I'm a moderator on a Discord where most people know me as Mom or some similar descriptor. Most people are phone with it and those who aren't keep to their OWM device. Anyhow, I made one lewd remark, mostly as a joke, and the first reply I got was "Mom's a bit of a weird one." Huh? Here, let me help. Before they sent a nude right in the NSFW general chat. No shame. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.